Since the dawn of time, human beings have longed for four essential pillars: wealth, health, peace, and love. Yet, as Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, often revealed in his readings, the reason we fail to secure these treasures is not rooted in chance, injustice, or lack of opportunity. The true barrier lies much deeper, hidden within the soul itself. Cayce explained that every individual carries an unseen history, the weight of past choices and experiences from previous lives. These echoes of the past shape our present, influencing why some are surrounded by abundance while others face endless scarcity, why some enjoy vibrant health while others wrestle with chronic illness, and why love and peace seem so elusive for many. The shocking truth Cayce emphasized is this: wealth, health, peace, and love cannot be found by chasing them directly. Money alone does not bring prosperity. Medicine alone cannot guarantee healing. Silence does not create true peace, and passion without spirit cannot sustain real love. These blessings are not rewards we grasp with our hands, but fruits that grow naturally when the soul is aligned with its divine purpose. This was the cornerstone of Cayce's message. We are eternal spirits living temporary experiences. Without recognizing this, our pursuit of fulfillment becomes like chasing shadows across a desert, always close but never within reach. But there is hope. Cayce assured us that once the soul returns to harmony with its higher calling, the doors to abundance, healing, serenity, and love open almost effortlessly. The pressing question then becomes, what is this hidden purpose, and how can we begin to align ourselves with it in the midst of modern life's chaos? This is where the journey truly begins. Edgar Cayce's readings made one truth clear: everything we seek outwardly is first born within. Wealth, health, peace, and love are not external prizes to be seized, but inner states that reflect outwardly once they are cultivated in the soul. The very first step, Cayce taught, is recognition. We must recognize that the true source of abundance and healing does not come from the world around us, but from the divine spark that lives within. Without this recognition, all our pursuits remain superficial, like trying to heal a wound by polishing the skin while leaving the infection untouched. Cayce often reminded people that the body itself is only a reflection of the mind and the spirit. Illness arises when there is disharmony between the soul's higher purpose and the way we live day to day. Likewise, material struggles often mirror inner blockages, unresolved fears, patterns of selfishness, or the inability to trust in something greater than ourselves. This recognition is not about blaming ourselves for hardship, but about understanding the law of cause and effect that Cayce so often emphasized. He explained that every thought and action sets into motion currents of energy that eventually return to us. Thus, our health, our prosperity, our peace, and even our relationships are shaped by what we have sown in spirit. The first step, then, is not to beg the world for more money, or plead for someone else's love, or even search desperately for a cure. It is to turn inward and awaken to the realization that what we long for already has a root in us. By aligning that root with the divine will, Cayce said, we allow life itself to blossom in ways that exceed human understanding, and yet recognition alone is not enough. Once we see that the source is within, what must we do to awaken it? Cayce left powerful guidance for this, and it begins with one of the most underestimated but transformative practices: setting the mind in harmony with spirit through daily attunement. For Edgar Cayce, the soul's alignment with the divine was not a one-time revelation, but a daily discipline. He warned that people often awaken to the truth, feel inspired for a moment, and then slip back into old habits of thought and behavior. Real transformation requires consistency, the practice of attunement. Cayce described attunement as setting the mind and heart in harmony with the higher self and with God. This was not a mystical ritual reserved for prophets, but something every soul could practice each day. It could take the form of prayer, meditation, or even a few moments of stillness where one sincerely opens to the divine presence within. Why was this practice so crucial? Because Cayce taught that the mind is the builder. Every thought, every intention, every inner image plants a seed that eventually grows into outer experience. If our minds are filled with fear, resentment, or selfish desire, our lives will inevitably reflect that. But when the mind is trained daily to rest on truth, love, and faith, the outer world begins to shift in remarkable ways. Cayce often emphasized that miracles are not accidents. They are the natural result of alignment, the steady work of bringing the conscious mind into rhythm with the eternal soul. Just as a musician must tune an instrument each day before it produces beautiful music, the soul must be tuned to the divine if it is to manifest harmony in health, wealth, peace, and love. He also insisted that attunement is not about escaping the world, but about transforming how we move through it. A business decision, a family conflict, even the way we treat a stranger on the street, all become arenas where attunement is tested and proven. Each choice is an opportunity to demonstrate whether we are guided by fear or by spirit. Thus, daily attunement is not merely a practice, it is the foundation upon which the entire house of life is built. Without it, we remain at the mercy of chaos. With it, we begin to live with clarity, strength, and a quiet confidence that draws blessings almost magnetically. And yet, Cayce warned that attunement must go beyond the mind alone. The heart, too, must be cleansed and opened. For without the purity of the heart, the power of the mind can easily be misused. Edgar Cayce reminded his listeners again and again, the mind is the builder, but the heart gives it direction. Without the right spirit, even the most disciplined thoughts can lead us astray. A sharp mind without a pure heart can build wealth that destroys, power that corrupts, or love that enslaves. For this reason, Cayce placed enormous emphasis on the heart's purity. But what does purity of the heart mean? It is not about perfection or pretending to be without flaw. According to Cayce, purity is about intention. It is the choice to act with love rather than selfishness, to seek good not only for ourselves but also for others, and to forgive where resentment has long taken root. Cayce spoke often of forgiveness as the key to freedom. He warned that harboring bitterness or clinging to old wounds poisons not only the spirit but also the body. Diseases, conflicts, and failures in love often traced back in his readings to hidden grudges or unhealed memories. When forgiveness enters the heart, those chains begin to fall away. Forgiveness, however, is not weakness. It does not erase accountability or excuse harm. Instead, it frees the soul from being bound to the past. As Cayce explained, you cannot hold resentment and expect peace. You cannot curse your brother and expect love. Only when we release others from the prison of our hatred do we step out of that prison ourselves. Purity of heart also demands honesty. Many came to Cayce seeking shortcuts to wealth or health, hoping for magic formulas. His response was always the same. There are no shortcuts. True abundance flows from a heart aligned with God. Without honesty, integrity, and compassion, wealth becomes emptiness, health becomes fragile, peace becomes shallow, and love becomes possession. Thus, Cayce pointed us to a higher vision. When the heart is cleansed by forgiveness and guided by love, the soul becomes a vessel through which divine blessings naturally pour. It is only then that the other pillars, wealth, health, peace, and love, can rest securely upon the foundation of spirit. Yet Cayce also made clear that these blessings are not meant to be hoarded. What we receive is given to be shared. And this brings us to the next step of his teaching, service to others as the true measure of spiritual growth. If there was one principle Edgar Cayce repeated more than any other, it was this: you can only truly receive what you are willing to give. This simple yet profound law of life explains why so many chase after wealth, health, peace, and love, but never find them. They seek to possess rather than to share. Cayce taught that service to others is not optional. It is the very pathway through which divine blessings flow. When we give freely, whether it be love, kindness, time, or even material help, we align ourselves with the creative forces of the universe. In this alignment, we become channels of abundance, and what passes through us inevitably multiplies and returns. He warned, however, that service must be sincere. Helping others to be seen, praised, or rewarded carries no true power. The universe responds not to appearances, but to intention. When service comes from a heart genuinely moved by compassion, it activates spiritual laws far greater than anything human ambition can control. Cayce also revealed that service has a healing effect. Many of those who came to him with physical or emotional suffering were told not only to seek remedies, but also to find someone in greater need and help them. Time after time, those who followed this guidance discovered that as they lightened another's burden, their own became lighter. Healing, prosperity, and even reconciliation in relationships often unfolded as a direct result of serving others. Why is this so? Cayce explained that the soul was never meant to live in isolation. We are bound together, part of one great family under God. When we act only for ourselves, we cut off that divine current of life. But when we give, we reconnect to the eternal source. This principle also transforms how we understand wealth. True wealth, Cayce said, is not measured in possessions, but in the good we bring into the lives of others. Health is not just the absence of illness, but the strength to be useful. Peace is not withdrawal from the world, but harmony created through service. And love, the greatest of all, is not something to be demanded, but something to be offered first. And yet, service without wisdom can lead to burnout or misuse. Cayce therefore insisted that to serve rightly, one must learn to listen to the inner guidance of spirit. This guidance, often called intuition, or the still small voice, is the compass that ensures our service aligns with divine will. For Edgar Cayce, no journey toward wealth, health, peace, or love could succeed without one essential element: listening to the inner voice of spirit. He described this as the still small voice, a gentle whisper of guidance that every soul carries within. This voice, Cayce taught, is the direct link between the human heart and the divine. It does not shout, nor does it force itself upon us. Instead, it waits patiently, speaking in moments of quiet reflection, in dreams, in sudden impressions, or in the deep knowing that cannot be explained but feels undeniably true. Many asked Cayce how they could distinguish divine intuition from ordinary thoughts or desires. His answer was simple: the voice of spirit always carries the fruits of love, peace, and clarity. If an impulse brings confusion, fear, or selfishness, it is not from the higher self. True guidance aligns with the greater good, even when it challenges personal comfort. Cayce emphasized that this guidance is available to everyone. No one is excluded. Yet he also warned that modern life, with its noise, hurry, and constant distraction, drowns out the voice of the soul. Without stillness and humility, we miss the very wisdom that could lead us out of suffering and into blessing. Developing sensitivity to this inner compass requires practice. Prayer, meditation, journaling, and quiet moments in nature are ways Cayce recommended to strengthen awareness. The more consistently we create space for the soul to speak, the more clearly its direction emerges. And once we learn to trust it, life begins to change. Decisions that once felt heavy become clear. Paths that seemed closed suddenly open. Relationships align, opportunities appear, and even challenges take on new meaning. For as Cayce revealed, intuition is nothing less than the voice of God within us, guiding each soul toward its rightful purpose. Yet guidance is not just for personal benefit. Cayce insisted that those who hear the call are also responsible for acting upon it, for stepping into the flow of divine will. And this brings us to one of the greatest lessons he ever shared, the idea of karma and grace. the law that explains why some struggles linger and how they can be transformed. Edgar Cayce often explained that the obstacles we face in wealth, health, peace, and love are not random misfortunes. They are the echoes of karma, the consequences of past choices, whether from this life or previous ones. He described karma not as punishment, but as a divine law of balance, ensuring that every action, every thought, eventually finds its return. This means that struggles with poverty, illness, broken relationships, or inner turmoil often reflect lessons the soul must learn. Karma places before us the very conditions that invite growth, forgiveness, and transformation. It is life's way of urging the soul forward, even when the path feels painful. But Cayce also spoke of something greater than karma: grace. While karma explains why trials appear, grace reveals why they can be overcome. Grace is the gift of divine love that offers every soul a chance to start anew, no matter how heavy the past may seem. Through prayer, service, forgiveness, and sincere alignment with Spirit, old debts can be released and new possibilities opened. This balance of karma and grace is central to Cayce's message. He reminded seekers that no difficulty is permanent and no mistake is final. Every struggle carries within it the seed of redemption, waiting for the moment we choose differently, not from fear, but from love. Cayce's readings also revealed that many souls reincarnate together, bound by karmic ties. Families, friends, even adversaries often return across lifetimes to heal what was once broken. The conflicts we face may be ancient, but grace offers the opportunity to resolve them in the present. In this way, love, peace, and abundance are not just rewards, but the natural outcomes of spiritual healing across lifetimes. To embrace grace, Cayce urged seekers to surrender pride, bitterness, and the illusion of separateness. When we open to divine love, karma ceases to be a chain and becomes a teacher. The past no longer defines us, it refines us. This brings us to the final step of Cayce's teaching, the ultimate realization that ties all the pillars together, the recognition that we are co-creators with God, responsible for shaping not only our destiny, but the destiny of the world itself. Edgar Cayce's teachings culminate in a breathtaking truth. We are not passive travelers in this world. We are co-creators with God. Every thought, every action, every intention shapes not only our personal destiny, but also the destiny of humanity itself. This realization changes everything. Wealth is no longer just about accumulation, but about becoming a steward of abundance that blesses others. Health is no longer just the absence of illness, but the strength to carry out our soul's purpose. Peace is not withdrawal from life's struggles, but the harmony born when we align with truth. And love, the greatest treasure of all, is revealed not as something we receive, but as something that flows through us endlessly when we live as channels of the divine. Cayce reminded seekers that being a co-creator demands responsibility. To build wisely, we must remain rooted in daily attunement, guided by the purity of heart, committed to forgiveness, and devoted to service. When the mind is disciplined, the heart is open, and the soul is aligned, the creative forces of the universe flow through us with astonishing power. He also warned that misuse of this creative power brings consequences. Fear, greed, and selfishness can manifest illness, poverty, conflict, and despair. Yet, by the same law, love, faith, and compassion can manifest healing, prosperity, harmony, and joy. The choice is ours, moment by moment. This is the heart of Cayce's message. The life you live is the life you build. Wealth, health, peace, and love are not prizes to be chased, but the inevitable fruit of living in harmony with the divine within. You are not separate from God. You are an expression of God's creative spirit in this world. And so the question remains, what will you create? Cayce's answer was always the same. Begin now. In this very moment, choose love over fear, forgiveness over resentment, service over selfishness, and truth over illusion. Align your soul with its divine purpose, and you will discover that what you have been seeking all along has been seeking you too. If this message touched your heart, don't let it end here. Subscribe now and join our community of seekers who are uncovering the hidden truths of the Spirit. Like and share this video so others can find the same light. Comment below, which of Cayce's teachings spoke most to you? Wealth, health, peace, or love?